back on Big Board Sports, 104.5 The Team, ESPN Radio. Chris Honorado, Brian Mariano in this week for Roger Weiland, and we're joined in studio by Adam Barrett, a Clifton Park native, went to Shen, and he'll be coming to a cage near you this weekend. April 7th, Saturday, at Rivers Casino. It's Cage Wars. Adam is a local MMA fighter, also a local Taekwondo instructor. And he is out to defend his bantamweight title this weekend at Rivers Casino. 8 o'clock, doors open at 6:30. Guess what? Sold out. So if you aren't already planning on being there, you're a little late, but that's the good news because the next event that comes to the area will only be bigger, and you can jump on tickets. If you want information about the event, go to cagewarsny.com. Adam, good morning, man.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanhanks for coming all the way to the studio to hang out with us here for a little bit, and let's talk about your fight on Saturday specifically. You're the bantamweight title holder. You're out to defend it here.
Yes.
What is it about your opponent that you've been preparing for most specifically?
Well, I'm going to probably try to stick to my game, and that's it's been primarily a grappling game or jiu-jitsu game, but I am very adversed in Taekwondo. I've been training in Taekwondo since 1988. So I'm excited for the fight. It could really go anywhere. It should be a great matchup. My opponent is, his name's Z Lau. He's from Toronto, Canada. And right now he's currently one of the #1 ranked amateur fighters in the Northeast. So I've got my work cut out for me. But I'm really excited for the matchup. It should be a dynamic fight. Both of us have really strong kicks. Jiu-jitsu is probably going to be a factor into the fight. So I'm looking really forward to it.
Well, you're top 20 in the Northeast yourself, so you're one of the top fighters in this area. There's no doubt. How cool would it be to be at Rivers Casino in front of, look, MMA in New York State is still somewhat new, and here you get to do it kind of in your own backyard.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm really excited. When I first was getting into the MMA, one of my goals was actually to compete in a casino, and I'm competing in a casino in my hometown, and it's a sold-out show. So it really doesn't get much better than that, unless you're going to the bigger shows. But you got to step by step first.
Sure.
So.
And I know Chris mentioned that the MMA in New York, still relatively new, only a couple of years old here in New York State. Now, is this like from where you were fighting before, MMA was regulated here in New York? What kind of changes have you seen as it's evolved?
Well, certainly for the better. The quality of the fighters is much better. The regulation is certainly very important for the fighter safety. Previously, we would have fighters that were doing fights and then 3 weeks later doing another fight after getting knocked out. So, certainly for the safety of the fighters, it's a great thing. And I think the regulations that have come in are certainly just all around. They're bringing in business to the capital region. We have people coming from Canada that would never go to Rivers Casino, and now they're going to be staying there, lodging. I have friends that are staying there the night. So it's great for business. It's great for the athletes. It's an all-around good thing that these regulations came in.
Adam Barrett is with us in studio here on Big Board Sports 104.5 The Team, ESPN Radio. He's from Clifton Park. He will be fighting this Saturday night at Rivers Casino. Card starts at 8, Adam, though you're ballparking, you maybe start around 11.
I would probably, depending on how the fights go, sometimes they go quicker. But probably around 11 o'clock.
So that's good news for people who are only going specifically to see you. Hit the tables, have a little bit of dinner,
Absolutely, you have everything there.
Do the whole experience, and then obviously pop in to see Adam against Z Lau. Where do you feel like you are in your career? When you started this journey, what was the ultimate goal, and now what would you say you hope is your ceiling?
Well, I'm a little late to the dance. I'm going to be 40 in July, so a lot of the fighters I'm going against are 15 years younger than me. I still probably have a good 5 years left in me. I haven't had a lot of fights, so I haven't taken a lot of damage. I think that's a big factor into some of the older fighters. They've taken a lot of damage. Certainly my style of jiu-jitsu is probably a good style for a long career because you're neutralizing opponents and not trading a lot of punches. My goals would probably be to make it to the pro level and see what I can do with this in the next 5 years. If it doesn't go anywhere and I get to maybe some of the lower pro level shows, at the very least, I've gotten a lot of good coaching skills, that's my secondary goal in this.
Yeah, and you won the bantamweight title in January. Is this a normal turnaround for you, right around 3 months? Is this kind of a little quick for you? Where is this kind of?
This is the fastest pace I've done. This is going to be my third fight in 6 months.
Okay.
So previously I've fought 3 fights in a few years. So.
Why the regularity now of fights? Do you I know, look, you mentioned it, but do you feel like you're racing time, or do you feel like momentum is on your side? I want to keep rolling here.
Both of that. I'm momentum and the time factor. I've got a small window to make this happen, and as you're winning, you want to keep that momentum going. So
now, watching previous fights of the whole Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather thing, and how boxing translating to MMA, and everyone's saying there's no chance in the world you would see a boxer get into a cage. Do you ever think that we will see a Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor in the octagon at any point in time?
If they spend all their money and they need money, I probably would say that we'll see that. Other than that, I don't see how they can waste all that money.
Yeah.
But we've seen athletes do that before. So I don't know if the money is right. I mean, how can you say no?
Right.
It's, they're talking money that I can't even fathom. So like I said, how can you say no to that? So I think if the money's right, then we might see that fight, which we have. I know where that's going to go.
Of course.
The boxing doesn't really have a chance with the mixed styles.
Adam, what do you mentioned, the path towards coaching here. What are you telling some of the young kids that you're instructing now in Taekwondo about MMA? Here's the deal. Like, a lot of people, all they know of MMA is they may see a top 10 something on SportsCenter, or they may see the YouTube. They don't see exactly what goes into all of that. So I guess my question is, what are you teaching some of these young kids about what it takes to actually get into the octagon and be successful?
Well, the main thing that that MMA teaches, as well as any martial art, especially kids, is confidence. So, the thing that I like about teaching, and this is something that you do gain through martial arts, is confidence. So it's one of the good things about coaching is you see these kids that don't have a lot of confidence. And, we see a lot of things about bullying in schools with children, and no one really talks about the other end of it is, how can you bully a confident person? So it's a lot more difficult to bully the confident person. So, and again, a lot of focus is put on no bullying. There shouldn't be bullying. There's always going to be bullying, no matter what you do. So I think that the confidence is a good combat to that bullying as well, which not a lot of people talk about.
And nowhere in your answer did you reference physical confrontation. It's a mental state that allows a lot of these kids and even yourself to be successful, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't really consider myself a violent person. It's more of a skill level. I'm not, when I go in there, I'm not out to, I'm not thinking bad things of my opponent or out to hurt them. I'm mainly trying not to get hurt myself and win the fight. So, it doesn't have anything to do with violence. Most people associate MMA and mixed martial arts with violence. Yeah, it's a violent sport. Lots of sports are, but it's a competitive thing.
And Adam, as we let you go here, we're only a few days away. What will the emotions be like, the adrenaline be like Saturday night?
You go through certain waves of it. Sometimes you're telling yourself, this is going to be tough. Mainly just telling yourself, kind of like listening to the radio show before I came in here. The other coach said, don't screw up, basically.
Well, and going off of that, one more for me. So waiting all day, like I know if I'm playing any sort of sporting event, I'm not playing till later at night. It's so hard to kind of keep yourself occupied and make sure you don't burn too much of that energy. How do you prepare to not fight until 11 o'clock at night?
In the beginning, it was tough. I'm used to that. This is the last fight I had. I was the main event as well. So I'm actually really glad that I was able to experience that, because that does play a factor. That it's the waiting game, the nerves, the build up. When you're that night, you kind of want to just get it done with.
Right.
So it is definitely a factor. But I try to just relax, keep hydrated, and just stay calm, and get my mind prepared to go in there.
He's your bantamweight champ. He will defend that title Saturday night. Cage Wars at Rivers Casino, April 7th. Card starts at 8. Figure Adam gets in about 11 o'clock or so. More information, go to cagewarsny.com. As we told you, the event is sold out for this Saturday. But listen, you know what? You'd rather have it sold out than not. And the next time around, it'll be bigger and even better. There's no doubt about that. Adam, good luck this weekend, man.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.